So this is for cutting cross sections.
Yeah, let's see how much I can get in there. Okay, let's say, let's just say, for example, he wanted to cut 24-10, say, you know, an oddball.
Okay.
There's no howell there to cut it with.
Check.
So what I would do, I guess, is just, you know, get on the right layer, and those layers are on Hal's contractor.
Okay.
Because there's Hal's Darren, those are kind of like old ones, but we're not really using those.
Okay.
We're using these Hal's contractor because they set up their own.
Those are the right stations. Okay.
Okay, so you got Hal's contractor. I would offset it. OD, well, for me it's OD, but it's an offset. You give a distance and say we want to go over 10 feet. Send it over here. Okay, so now we have a Hal there.
Check.
Now, I don't know for sure if that offset stations it properly, so I'm going to check that. So, like if I say station and I pick this, you see it should tell me it'll tell me what the default to the beginning of that station is.
Okay.
And this says 0, but 0 is not right because 0 is in here somewhere. So this pink line is -10 on the stationing of those Hals. So you got to make sure that it's you got to station it. Say okay, station it, beginning station.
How do you station that? STA?
Yeah. Well, a lot of these are aliases for me. So it's probably station. I don't know if those aliases will work for everybody.
Okay, station.
Station. So station, pick it, and it'll ask what beginning. What do you want to beginning in station? So you do -10.
Okay.
Station. And so now, if I IDS it, this will be -10.
-10.
0 is in here somewhere. Yeah, see 0, and then it gets bigger. That's how you can check it. And so you know it's going to cut it in the right direction. Okay, and then you just profile.
Profile.
Yeah, Hal. You pick the Hal. What layer do you want that to go? And so like we would make a new layer.
Right.
In this case, it would be you'd have to make a new layer called 2410.
I mean, I had started last week.
24 plus 10.
C.
That's what we had. But now that we
You adding a C at the end?
Yeah, sorry. See. Okay. Okay. And then settings, that's where you select the surface you want to cut it through.
Right.
And in this project, there's a north kind of an area and there's a south area.
Okay.
The north area, shit, you can't choose from here. That's the only problem.
You can just voice it right now.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Oh.
It's I think it's R. I'd have to check, but I think it's R 7105. I think that's the north end.
Okay.
And then you say, okay. No, it didn't cut it, so I probably got it wrong.
Okay.
But let's check. Let's check what it really is.
Layers.
You kind of have to know it ahead of time before you go in because it doesn't give you an option box to select it from. You have to kind of type it in. It's okay. There it is. I missed up the DTM part. It's DTM space R7105. That's the north end. The south end is its DTM surface is DTM 12.
Okay.
I don't know why those are named that way. That one is from the file that it came from, but I don't know. This is just what I found when I opened this file. So it's DTM 12 for the south end and DTM R7105 for the north end.
Okay.
And so if I would have cut this section properly, pick this Hal, put it on 702410 C settings, and I put the right name up here, DTM space R7105, and I say OK, and OK. It says one profile stored, so it means it cut one section. And if I go to that layer, for 10C, and I isolate it, you'll see one section.
Okay.
It looks like there's a little bit of a funky thing happening up here. You might have to investigate that, but for the most part, that's the section. That's how you do it.
And then to get the plot box, you just
Oh,
make those visible, right?
Well, there is none here because I didn't populate it with one yet.
Oh, okay.
So you would have to. What I would probably do is go to another one, say one near it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then you can do a C2 out command,
Okay.
copy to layer. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
what do you call it?
You're copying to a layer. I understand.
Yeah, I forget what those are called. Those TMLs.
I see.
It's a little mini program. What objects in here do you want to copy to that other layer? And you want to take that, pretty much all the white stuff, all the writing.
Everything but the red, I think.
Yeah, probably everything but the red. I don't know if there's a float, but there may or may not be.
Okay.
See, we got everything?
Yeah.
And then you say OK. And I say I want to copy it to 2410C. Okay, and it'll do its thing. That's a lot. Okay. So now if you isolate that layer, 24 plus 10C. So we brought in everything.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to edit the name because it comes in with the one that you copied it from.
Mm-hmm.
So 2410. That's probably good. 77, I think, is since it's so close, it's probably right. And so good. You might have to investigate why it's got this funny thing in here.
Okay.
I don't really know why that is. But basically that's it. I've been coloring it like either 50 or 53, depending on which end it's at. So just color it, and basically that's it. Now, see, if I go investigate, there may not be a float at this.
Okay, hold on. Before you move on,
Oh, yes.
Is there anything I have to keep track of? Like, I have to move? Like it's not in the same place at each section?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was moving this template.
Which is the gray box.
The gray box
and the blue.
Yeah, I was moving this. This is what I was doing as a general rule.
Yes.
Moving it from, and I was taking the end point of this box, this corner of this box.
Right.
What would you say, end?
Mm-hmm.
And I was moving it to the intersection of this wall face
And the 10.
and 10.
Okay.
That's where I place it.
Okay.
And then you'd have to either extend or trim it right here a little bit, just slightly. This one's pretty close, so I just extend this blue line to there. And I think that's about it. And it looks like that for some reason the texts are very close,
Yeah.
so they don't really need to be moved.
Okay.
This is kind of standard for all of them. And like if we would go back and look, and because we probably don't need that float there probably isn't one. So if we go back to the plan, take this off of isolation. I don't think. See, the problem is sometimes some stuff's turned off.
Mm-hmm.
So let's turn everything on. Yeah, there's no float. You can see there's float. There's like a float down here. See this float out here?
Okay.
That's like a float out there. Sometimes there's a platform on the inside, on the land side. Sometimes there's one on the outside, but in this case, there's nothing. There's no float out here or anything. So we would have to go in and re-isolate that layer again, and we could get rid of this because there isn't a float here. Oh, but you see one thing we're missing here? That 20 feet out from top of the wall. That's the kind of the limit that they want to affect the
Right.
the rock. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't come in, but we need that. But in this case, it's kind of strange because the data ends very short, so we don't even know what's happening on this slope. Does that mean that the data is not There's not enough data going out. Oh, how far does it go? If I check how far this is supposed to be going out to, is it here? 20. All right, let me do this. Let me isolate the surface. I'll see how far it goes. On the south side, so it's this. Oh, it's going out quite a ways. Almost 20 feet. So there should be a section going down to 20. So what happened? Great. Now I'll give you an example that doesn't work. Let's see what happened. See, why is this red line not going out to 20? There should be surface there, right? And we seem to be cutting it off here. So let me get rid of a lot of there's a lot of isobatch stuff here that's kind of making it cloudy. Get rid of this stuff. Patch north. Isobatch south. And this is a planned surface. We don't really need that either. Let me shut that off. If I check IDS, this line, that's 0 around there. This should be going out to 20 feet. So what happened? Oh, you know what? I think I cut to the wrong surface. I think we're on the south side and not the north side. Yeah.
Check.
Oops, that was a mistake.
Okay.
So we have to cut that section again. Profile. How?
So you don't have to delete the one that you just did.
Yeah, I will. I will when I
you
get
will.
there.
Oh, okay.
Or you can tell it to override it, but I'll just erase it when I get there.
Okay.
So instead of this surface, which is the north end, I'm on the south end. I picked the wrong surface. So we want DTM 12, I think it is. Say okay. So you can either overwrite that one that's there already or not. Usually I don't because I want to kind of compare them, and then I can just pick it and erase it right when I get there. So I say don't overwrite it, and then I go back to a profile, and I offset 2410. Okay, now we got okay, and then I erased the previous one because that was incorrect. Okay, now that's connecting it to soundings that were out there. Let's see. How's that happening? What are those soundings? You see those soundings that it cut through? Way out here? How did it get those? I didn't even see them. So it should have only cut out to here, which is roughly 20 feet. So where is it getting that connection to all kinds of other data? Because I told it to cut through DTM 12. Well, let's go look at DTM 12.
It's connecting there?
I'm sure I'm going to check that right now. See if it's connecting out where it's not supposed to.
What was that command you just did?
Link set.
Okay.
And that lets you see the
triangles?
the little blue triangles. And you just pick the one that you want to see it on. Where is the section that we're cutting? 2410. Here. Part of it. Yeah, I got two surveyors. Okay, you can see what's happening. It's linking to this big concrete pad. There used to be a building. The pad is still here, so it's linking. These are bad links that are coming across here. So they're not true. So you really got to you're gonna have to make sure that it only cuts to
that distance.
Here.
Okay.
Uh-oh, I think I made another mistake. There actually is a float out here. How did I miss it?
Okay.
Right there. So basically you're going to have a float at this point, the edge of wood here. You're going to have to put that float thing back in there.
Right.
And then the data is going to basically end right here.
Okay.
So we're going to have to trim that back. So if I go to IDS, find out where that is, this intersection here. So at 1983, that's where it really is going to end. It doesn't go out past that. I want to go to here to the profile. And I know that it's only really supposed to go to 1983, so however you want to do that, but I usually just do an OD of this because I know this is 0. So I use it and I go out 1983.
What does OD stand for?
Offset distance.
Okay.
And I offset distance there. So I know that this data really only goes to here.
Check.
And so this is all false. So I trim that back. See, so that's really where it goes. That's more accurate. But see the float, there is a float here and I erased it. So you have to kind of go get it from somewhere. So I would probably just go to here and kind of borrow it from there and say C2L again. Copy it from here.
This one also doesn't have the 20-foot line.
That's probably why we didn't have it.
Yeah.
But the rules of this plan are either whichever one is closer, the float or the 20-foot thing. This one is going to be like almost the same. So this can regulate it.
Okay.
So this is good enough. We don't need that 20-foot thing really. So I'm going to copy that to 2410. Okay, then I go back to isolate it.
You're going to be the
It's there.
You're going to be the cross-section expert.
And if I want to know exactly where it goes, I'll ask it. I'll say IDS. And it's going to be at this intersection. This is the face of the float and the how. And it's 2018. So I go back here. I know that has to be at 2018. I usually just go this, ID this. Give me a line at 2018. Oops. Or you could use this line, whatever. Just whatever you need to get something at 2018. And I just usually move this to. Oh, which one's which? I got two lines, I don't know which one it is. Let's just say it's this one.
No, you're on video.
Yeah, I know. I erased one. There. I can put it back. I erased a line. These are 5 feet. 5 feet. Put it back. Color it back the right color. And it looks like I missed it by, I put it to the wrong line. I can just move this. From 0, 0 to this. When you're in profile view, it goes, instead of XY, it's station elevation. So the station has to go 1800ths over, and the elevation changes 0. So that just basically moves it that way. So that's where the float is. So that kind of took a long time to admit a few mistakes, but at least it showed you what happens if you do make a mistake.
Yeah, no, that helps.
Yeah. So that is basically the section.
Okay.
And since this is over, the red is over the blue at this point, you don't have to consider that 2 foot offset before it starts heading down. If they were the other way around, they kind of break the blue line, the plan line, at 2 feet in from here, they break it down. But in this case, you don't have to worry about it because this is high already. Looks like it kind of slumped. The rock looked like it kind of slumped here from where it was supposed to be. Maybe it fell down from here and piled up down here. So that would be basically a new section. So that's kind of all the steps you'd have to take.
Would they ever need to see in a section the before and after surfaces at the same time? Because this only cuts through one surface at a time.
Yeah. Now you mean like once they place the rock?
Yeah, do they ever need to see the before and the after at the same time?
You can do that.
Oh, you could? I thought it only cuts through one surface at a time.
Well, like if they go and they place rock on this slope, and then they want an after,
I'll just cut through that new surface, and then it'll show up there.
Yeah, you just cut through this will stay.
Right.
You just put another one in it.
That's right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You just use a different surface to cut through.
Okay.
Lay a new one on top. Yeah.